As we begin this particular conversation, there is another healthcare forum that has been interrupted. There seems to be a pattern going on here. I mean, have you seen some of the pictures that we've been showing from around the country? I want you to see this one for yourself. And you know what I also want you to do? I want you to make your own decision as you watch this. So I'm going to show you as much of this as we think is necessary for you to get a clear picture of what's actually going on. This is the latest example. Green Bay, Wisconsin, last night, Democratic Congressman and medical doctor Steve Kagan. He called a meeting to discuss the crucial issue of health care reform. Since he's a doctor and a politician, he wanted to meet with his constituents. Here's what happens. All right, now I want to show you another one. Let me set this one up for you. This is Congressman Tim Bishop. Tim Bishop is from New York. He says that he wants to make sure his audience is civil and informed as he prepares with the audience and his staff to have this town hall meeting. Watch what happens to him.
Yes, recently retired. I have a nice little pension, and I don't want to be taxed for others to pay for other people's health care. We have 47 million people.
Can I finish the sentence?
So you need to know where you stand.
I'm about to tell you. Let me No one is talking about the government taking over health. Oh, no.
There's another one. Congressman Bishop, by the way, let me add this to you. Congressman Bishop says that he's not having any more town hall meetings after having to be escorted out of there by police. Here's another one. This one seems to show Democratic Congressman Lloyd Dogget of Texas. He's, in this video you're going to see, he's wearing a beige shirt. He's being chased out of his own voters' forum. Watch this one. Amazing to watch, and look who's joining us now. It's the congressman. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us, sir.
Rick, great to be with you from deep in the heart of Texas.
Deep in the heart of Texas. I love that part of the country. What was that like?
Well, Rick, there is a little pattern here that you just pointed out to your viewers. This is not grassroots, pitchfork-waving folks. This is a coordinated campaign by the Republican Party and the insurance industry. And just to modify a little one thing you said, I visited with these people for an hour, listening to their questions, trying to explain the plan, having their taunts, boos, and so forth like my colleagues. Only after they began making so much noise that no one could be heard did I decide first to try to visit with people individually, and then as the party of no, never, they appropriately began chanting at the top of their lungs their no slogan.
Well, you made a charge, so I'm going to have to challenge you on that.
Please do.
It's my responsibility. You say these people are basically being orchestrated by the Republican Party, and who else did you say? The
insurance industry has a big hand in this.
How do you know that? I mean, that's a heck of a thing to say.
Yes, I know with reference to the Republican Party because it's on the website of the local party chair, both urging them to come and thanking them for coming. It's interesting that they decided to set all this up as a video opportunity, so that what you just showed was film taken by the Republican Party of Texas on a new YouTube video. They proudly proclaim that their edited version, one snippet of one question, was produced by the Republican Party of Texas. Today's New York Times reports the coordinated effort of some of those groups that have insurance company funding. They'll do anything they can to block health care reform for working Americans.
I guess the one thing we should always expect of each other, whether we agree with each other or not, is that we're going to be, when we come into any conversation or dialogue, both civil and informed. And I think Congressman Bishop made that point. Do you get a sense, either in your environment where you had your meeting or in the others that you've seen so far, that people are either being civil or informed?
Rick, unfortunately not, although many of the people that were gathered there weren't there to say no, but to listen and learn, as I was. I began this discussion saying that I was ready to show as much respect as I received, but I think you get a flavor not just from the yells, but when they show up with sign, Lloyd Dogget, traitor to Texas, devil to all people, and a beautiful photograph of a marble tombstone with my name on it, that they didn't come to learn and talk, they came to demonize.
Look at that video. I mean, they are, it seems like they weren't just content to tell you what they have to say, which, by the way, is their right as citizens of the United States, and we should be glad that there are people that are out there that are assembling and that are passionate and that are showing how much they care about this issue, right?
I couldn't agree more, and would defend their right to say whatever they want critical of me. It's when they go over the line and engage in conduct that denies their neighbors an opportunity to be heard. It wasn't that I was hurt. It was that their neighbors were denied their right of free expression by their unruly mob-like conduct.
You know, one of the things I noticed when I watched all three of them, and that's why we wanted viewers to watch all three, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I got the impression that a lot of the things that were being said in one were also being said in two and were also being said in three. Some very parallel statements, if you will. And I'm wondering if you have stopped to figure out where these folks are getting their information, because they do have a very parallel ideology, do they not?
Well, they do have a script. I think this is disseminated through the Republican Party, through websites that they're going to, and through some of the private organizations that are helping orchestrate all this. And it's pretty much the same script everywhere. Government takeover, euthanasia, socialized medicine. They like to use bumper strip slogans that are totally as phony as the grassroots nature of this organization.
Why are they phony? Because both parties, I have to ask you, both parties from time to time have used those kind of bumper slogan speaking points, as they say.
Well, they're phony as they relate to this bill, which has been a couple of years in the making. On euthanasia, for example, there is no provision for euthanasia. There is, for the first time in this bill, an opportunity for a doctor to be paid under Medicare if his patient or her patient chooses to seek counseling about, do they want to be tied to a machine forever? Do they want a living will? Whatever. On socialized medicine, the government owns no facilities. It hires no physicians. And in fact...
and what happened when you told them that? What happened when you tried to make that point clear to them?
Only jeers and an attempt to refer to provisions in the bill by line and verse with whatever they'd been given to deny it was true. There was never any willingness, any give and take. I became convinced, Rick, that we could write that bill any way one would want to write it. Nothing would satisfy them. And I'd like to make this point because I think it's important. All right. They were waiving the 10th Amendment, the rights reserved to the states, and actually admitted to me, several of them, in the discussion, that they did not only want to stop health care reform, they want to repeal Medicare and Social Security, because that's the same philosophy of no rights for the federal government to play a role in helping its people with their individual choice.
Well, that's why we wanted to have you on. You are uniquely qualified to talk about what it's like to be in one of these. You experienced it yourself.
And Rick, I hope it's a message out there to your viewers to not sit back and think President Obama and a Democratic
Yeah, that's
Congress.
a good point. Where's the other side? Like I said, and I think you said, you got to admire people who are passionate about their cause. You may think
Right.
that they're ill-informed. Regardless, they're passionate. They're Americans. They have something to say, and they're showing up. Where's the other side? Where's all the millions of Americans who, according to all the polls, really want this thing to pass? Where are their rallies?
Many of them came, but they were drowned out on Saturday. But I'll tell you, unless more Americans who are suffering under the insurance companies get out there and express their opinion, write their letter to the editor, call into these talk shows, if they don't get that message out, the insurance companies will win in September, and we just cannot let that happen.
All right. Congressman Dogget, thanks, sir, for being with us. The man who was chased out of a parking lot, as you saw there in the video. Thanks for being so candid,
Thank
sir.
you, Rick.
Appreciate it.